Howdy, howdy. Okay, so kind of got my references figured out, or at least locally. Everything's loading up the way I want them to. So that's a good thing. Now I need to see if I can get things to work. What was I? Get things to work for my Docker setup. So I deployed it to GitHub, and GitHub built my my Docker files. So now I have to go get the image tag, which is to say I have to go here and take this little tiny piece right there, because it's the new value of the tag of the deployment. And then I have to go get my Docker commands that I will fill that in with. Oops. Oh, I should have put that in the right place. So hey, get this. I actually got React debugging working in VS Code. That's another thing I managed to do. Okay, so I don't know if, I actually gave YouTube guys a chance rather than going through AI. And again, it's not that AI doesn't tell you the right things to do, but sometimes you're not exactly sure what the AI is guessing is going on, right? So it doesn't really know everything. You say, I want to set up debugging. Well, it says, here, do this. But it doesn't tell you to do it the way that, sometimes there's a more direct route, sometimes there's a way that actually implies that there's another piece to it. And apparently, simply doing an npm npm run dev doesn't work. You have to do an npm run dev and start the debugger. I didn't know that. I thought, like when you start the app in Visual Studio, it just debugs. It's just you're attached. That's the way it does it. Once you set it up correctly, you just start it and it runs and you're just debugging. Well, there's a step involved, apparently, when you're in VS Code, that either that or you have to have some other setting that I haven't figured out or put in yet. But when I run npm run dev, it doesn't start the debugger automatically. You have to go start the debugger or have the debugger already running. You can start the debugger at any time, but until you run the app, it won't do anything. It won't attach to your process. And then your breakpoints work. Now, that's for React. I haven't figured out, right? I haven't attempted to do Go yet, but I'm guessing I'm going to need Go pretty soon because I'm going to be doing a lot of, right now I'm doing a lot of get going stuff where you're just putting plugs in, getting everything going, getting the authentication running, and you got a lot of throughput. You don't have a lot of stuff happening in the function. It creates its things. Yeah, if I need to look at a value that when it comes in, it runs through and then goes to the database. But eventually, or even hopefully in the next few days or weeks, I will be doing functions and procedures within the code where I have to actually watch numbers and I have to be making sure that the processes are flowing the way I want them to. Or I may want to step through just to see where is it turning, where is it making the bad choices, that kind of thing. And so debugging in Go is going to become a big deal. Right now, I haven't had a strong need for it, but I'm guessing I will. Okay, so this should, it should work. Guess what, it did not. But I think I remember the issue here. I just ran into this earlier. It couldn't find, that's because I'm in the wrong place. It says it can't find the .m file, which is kind of silly because it's not the .m file it can't find, it's the test cloud file it can't find because it's only in the root. I guess I could have pasted had it all in my clipboard instead of going back and looking at each process. Okay, so it should be coming up. It's going to fire up in my Docker desktop now. I should end up with a new container that'll say, 1 minute ago, 1 second ago, But it's got to finish building and creating them, so they're not all set yet. It's just creating them, and then it'll run the database, and then it'll run the network, I think, and then it runs the AIM job. So we got the database healthy. Oh, okay, they're all up and running. Good to go. 1 second to go. All right, let's. Hey, look. Wait a minute. No, usually a couple of them will shut down. Oh my gosh, are all of them running? Usually they shut down after just a couple of minutes. Playbook and game plan were having issues where they didn't want to start. Or they'd start for a minute and then they would just blow up. And now all of a sudden, everybody's working. Everybody's like on board. So whatever I did to get my environment variables to load correctly appears to have fixed the problem. Yay me. That's going to make a big difference in what I can do coming up. But let's go see, though, if everything's actually working, because now I have to go over to the front end, which is over here, load it up, and of course it quickly fails. Right now, it's not failing. I mean, it's checking to see if the person who came to the site is logged in. Probably not ideal. I'm doing that right now because I'm testing all this stuff, but ultimately I'm probably going to want to do a little less hardcore. Hey, don't try to touch our website unless you've got an account. Plus I want to dress this up, so I want to put an image on there, make it look kind of cool, maybe put the login in the center and put some football-y surrounding stuff around it. I don't know. I have to think what I want to have as the surrounding to the login. But I want to be in the same theme of the rest of the app. So that's going to be kind of an important aspect. So I will be plugging away at that soon. All right, so let's go ahead and create this account. Let's see what we got. Before I was having more reference errors. It was calling up. Actually, let's go see how close we are. Actually, I may not even have to do that. If this is not working, I'll know right now. Gateway. See, we're still. Okay, we're still not fully working. I know this because these should not say localhost. They should say like the name of the app. But this one's working, which is interesting. Because when that one's not working, it says 3030. So it successfully got one of the files. It's interesting. Interesting. Trying to load. It successfully loaded .m from app comment in, which is of course weird. Whatever the app comment in was, see, this is what it should be reading. Is that the one it read? So I mean, that's it reads the same, but it's not reading what is supposed to be there, which means, and it read this, okay, gateway main. So it is reading, but the .m files should not be in GitHub, which means they're supposed to be getting built. I say that because look, this is what they're supposed to be. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go to my config.go. I think that's some extra logging here. I don't want. Oh, I see. It has a path. Nice. We load the GitHub token. I see. I don't want this. I don't need that anymore. That's the piece I want to get rid of. But, yeah, so we ran through and we got code, but it's either reading the wrong values I feel like it is getting here, so getting here is not the problem. It is interesting though that it read the correct path from error loading.m file from common directory. I don't know about that. So we got successfully loaded. Wait, where is that coming from? Error loading.m. So we have common. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay, I'm getting it. I'm seeing what's going on. All right, so it looks like the it hits things from different places. It has a lot to do with where the code is being called from, and that's why things get weird, because apparently it's all relative referencing. So if you don't have the right path in there, it isn't going to figure it out for whatever reason. So you can see I have these paths and it has options. Well, down here I don't have any options. I just go straight to common env. Now common env is the one that typically is supposed to work, but as you can see, it does not. So I need to do something like, basically I'm doing this. But I got to do it down here. And then once you've successfully loaded, it'll try to do a URI config. Hopefully it'll pick up the right value then. But it was failing with the other, and I'm not, it was, interestingly enough, it wasn't getting, it's getting in here. Probably because, I don't have any idea why. Let's just be honest, I have no idea why. This is doing a load the path. It says if it finds the path, load an M file from blah, and then it goes and does this. Kind of interesting how this works. I guess we're loading the file into the go.env, and then go.env does something with it. Get env, huh? Well, it will read your env files and load them into env for this process. Call this function as close as possible to start your program, ideally in main. If you call load without any args, it will default to loading a .m in the current path. You can otherwise tell it which files to load. There can be more than one file. It's important to note that it will not override a .nm variable that already exists. Consider the m file to set dev vars as sensible defaults. Huh. So you can load that in advance, and then I wouldn't have to be doing this. I wonder if I should just do a .init, and then I shouldn't even have to do this anymore, right? I wouldn't even have to load it. But is that only during the import? That might only be during the import. In other words, it would only be in existence for like the gateway. But every app would still have to call it. But it would be on init, and then if on init called it, So let me check something. Let's see what it says here. Okay, so if I call go.m.load via the init function and correctly load the common .m variables, do I need to call it again for all services at reference common files? Because that's according to what it says here, you only need to call it one time. Load will read your M files and load them in M for this process. Call this function as close as possible to start of your program. So if I call, so probably at the beginning of every one, I would call this load db config, load db or URI, and then also load, or even just load this init. Either way, once this whole thing gets loaded, go.m is loaded, I shouldn't have to reference anything else, right? Successfully loaded. Like for example, all right, if I load a comment, if I call go.m load via the init function and correctly load the comment info, do I need to call it again? And the other in the load db config for the load URI config or load URI config. Does it just store the values? Nice. Alright, so that'll save me a whole lot of pain and agony. Because I don't think I need, if init's going to call or trigger, then I just do this. I can basically get rid of load db config. I can really just dump a lot of this. I'm going to try it. I'm always up for simplification, man. It might even make my life easier, because since it'll already be loaded. Guess we'll find out if I'm going to make my life more difficult or better. I'm that much into the idea of clean code. And making extra calls just means you're validating against extra stuff, and it's like, why? Why make your code test itself over and over and over again? If it works the first time. I should use this on these, to be honest, because this at least lets me return an error. something I can like gronk onto. It'll tell me if the value it got back was crap. It's like, I don't want no crap. Crap's bad. Who likes crap? I mean, really? Well, okay. It's got its place. But sometimes it's probably good. I don't have anybody watching this. Leche chocolate. Muy bueno. Muy bueno. All right. So if that's exactly as I expect, now the question is, so we have this error loading.m from common directory. I shouldn't need to do this again. This error loading common directory crap shouldn't even ever occur. I should greatly simplify. I'll have this firing off, but once it's loaded and we have values, it should be good to go because it's going to load the correct M files, assuming they have, values. So let's go ahead and let's see if I did any syntactical guffaws, and do a go build dot. Hey, look, I did. Go cannot find the main module, but found. Huh? Oh, whatever. PFFM go in this /key. And then we got go run. Oh, then I just, wait, cd, pff, and go ns, no, that's not ppm, pffm, gons, holy moly, go build. Hey, I completed my first acting gig. I didn't get paid, of course, it was just for fun kind of thing, but I didn't have to pay them, so it's kind of like my semi-pro stint, semi-pro football I did for a short time. I didn't have to pay them, so hey, I got to play tackle football for free with a bunch of dudes, that was fun. But I guess that's what semi-pro is. Nobody gets paid. I think the teams get paid because they get their money from people coming to the games, right? The idea, I think it folded. I believe the local semi-pro league folded because it was meant to be like they were trying to build it up as a farm thing, kind of for the NFL, like guys who were trying to, just came out of college, couldn't quite make the pros, wanted to go play and see if they can, anybody could try out, and you go practice, and you make the team, and then you're trying to play for the opportunity that maybe the NFL. And I don't think it ever played out that way. And I don't know, maybe they were even hoping for getting sponsorships from the NFL so that they can, stay in business. But I think it just folded. I don't know when it folded though. Okay, so this says my ports are localhost, right? They're correct. They're all correct ports, but the question will be whether or not they're correct when I get to here. So I feel like when I go here, my GitHub, which is supposed to be setting them. Oops, am I looking at the right thing? Apparently not. See, I have it actually setting them here to AMG auth, game plan, playbook, and gateway, gRPC gateway. But something is blowing them the heck up. So it's supposed to be putting these files over here. And you know what I should do? Let's go look at GitHub. I'm wondering if it's at all possible that it is checking these in, and then when it creates it here, it creates these M files. Then when it actually exports and builds up, it drops these other M files on top and kills it. Like it's actually not ignoring them. It ignores them. I do know for a fact it's ignoring them for React, but I wonder if it's not ignoring them for some of these other folders. I'm gonna go look. If it's not ignoring them, that's gonna be a problem. Wait, that's not right. Code. Alright, and I'm going to go here. I'll go to my GoMS integration. And then I'm going to go down to PFFM GoMS. Yeah. Open, man, open. Oh, wait, where am I? I didn't expect to see that out. I actually want the okay. I don't want to see the commit. I want to see the code. What the heck? Why can't I open this? I want to browse the code, man. What's going on? PFF is this one? No. What? Oh, did I try to create? I clicked on the folder, which apparently is not a link. All right. So the question is Common have an M file? Oh, see, that's it. It's importing the file. It's not supposed to be doing that. So what's happening is GitHub is creating a file, and then it exports these files and drops them on top of the other. It's not supposed to be pulling these in. After all this time trying to build my app to be, smart, to not be pulling in M files, it only apparently ignores them for React. So I have to add them to the ignore myself for this. I did not know that. So there's a git ignore here. PFFM, yeah, see I got PFFM stuff, but I don't have. I'm gonna separate my GoMS. Or just put this one down here. And that's the only GoMS, but I'm gonna actually take all these craps out. or not out, but I wanna just, a little bit of sorting. So I know that it's what it's ignoring. So much stuff, man. Okay. I don't have that much. Should be. I might just tell it, I'm going to block out all the items. I think that might be, in the long term, that's been my problem, a lot of it. The fact that it's not overriding its own environment. It's not ignoring all environment variables. Now, there's a git ignore at every level. So this is just what it has for PFFM Go. It's ignoring the Gradle crap. And this is some of the stuff I just added earlier, but there should be a git ignore at this level too, right? In here? Yeah, see, this one has a git ignore, and this one has all kinds of stuff. But this is all pertaining specifically. I almost feel like I should just dump. I don't want to do all M files though, because I would think, I want it to be okay with one. Like if I want to do .m, but I want to be able to Alright, I don't know how to write this. Okay. I want to do exceptions, and I think you can. I don't remember how, but I think there's a way to do an exception. do I set the .get ignore file to exclude all .m files except .m development and m template. Yeah, I know, but oh, the bangs are the exceptions. Okay. I just want these to be able to exist if I want them to exist, and I want them to carry through. Now, they shouldn't have anything of value in them. I mean, there's just stuff you could use locally. Like where you would put localhost, or you would put like a dummy password to get through your local setup. But, you know, but you would put something more hardcore for a production one or for some other environment. Or even, you know, any other environment, you might put something different in there. Okay, so I want that. But also will .m star cover all subfolders as well. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take this. And then we're going to go over, you know, actually what I'm thinking I want to do is just be, alright, let's keep it in the package. This one doesn't have it ignore for whatever reason.
Well, that's lame. What the heck, man? Where's your duck get ignore at, you doofus?
I didn't know a Go program didn't have one by default. .get ignore. I guess we'll just start with this. That's the only thing I have in there right now. But at least this will help prevent the nonsense man from showing up. Now, if Git already has some files that you are adding to the Git ignore, this will be removed from Git. And commit the change. Alright, let's do this. I'll go over to my terminal here. Somewhere. Gotta close all these guys. Let's first save them all. Close you, and you, and you, and you. And let's actually go to the app that actually has some code in it. Go here, and I'll go here, and I'll go This guy. Alright. Perfect. We got rid of all of our unwanted .ends. And we're going to go here and we're going to say remove .m from GitHub except div and template. And that's it. Okay, so we gotta wait for another update. Let's see if things fix. We're so close, I think. If this fixes it, because in other words, we won't be deploying a .m with actual junk in it and overwriting the files that GitHub was making. And I didn't know that we were doing this, and I bet you this has been part of my whole problem for the longest of times. Because I noticed that this flow here, the GitHub workflow creates the M files first, but then it deploys and pushes the code. Well, if it has a .m file, what's it going to do? It's going to overwrite the .m file that it just created, because those come in second. So we need to stop having files there. GitHub, tell GitHub to stop tracking those, and then now it'll be blank, so it can create its own, and they'll be sitting there, and there won't be nothing to overwrite them. And theoretically, that might just fix a lot of the problems I've been having. In theory, I could have just been overwriting my stuff with the crap. So we're gonna find out. Fingers crossed. Please work. Please be right. All right. So we know this guy doesn't need to be running anymore, not right now, because we know he doesn't work yet. Because we already looked. We've already stopped the code here, so we're waiting. At least we stopped that one. Let's stop. Did I not click that? Stop. Oh, I guess it's working on it. There it goes. Okay. So that one's in progress. We'll go with actions here. And we are deploying, and we will see where are we going to be at the end of all this. Now, I know you're thinking, this is game development? Where's the game? I know, and you're thinking, well, I'm telling you, there's a lot more to game development than doing the cool stuff. There's two types of cool stuff when you're developing games. I'm talking about game cool stuff. There's some of this stuff's kind of cool, getting Docker to work and getting all that stuff. I mean, if you're a programmer, getting all of the infrastructure in place is kind of cool to watch it all flow and get everything triggering and doing all of its things. But all that is to make life easier as you start doing the real code development. But the cool stuff, you know, the writing the algorithms and the functions, and then the UI where you get to do cool looking stuff and start playing with making it look nice and start putting little dudes on the screen and moving around. And yeah, that's all cool stuff. But unfortunately, that is not the everything of your process, right? You want to get to that point. You want to, and that's what a lot of this is. You know, I'm in the first, well, I'm going, let's see, November, December, January. Yeah, I'm going into my 4th month on this now. 4. That would be a 4, right? I mean, that's kind of like a 4. I mean, if you do the, yeah, it's kind of a 4, right? But anyway, all I showed you is one pinky. That's kind of a 4. Okay, anyway, I'm going into the 4th month. This is the beginning of February, which by the end of February will be 4 months. Yes. And at that point, I will expect to have had, I will have all my authentication in place. I will have my infrastructure built with Docker, GitHub, continuous integration and delivery from dev to test to pull request to production, which will be an available to the public, publicly accessible version of the app, complete with the ability to add people who want to back and support the application, my development of this. And in doing that, I will give them access to everything that's happening throughout the game. So they get to be I won't even call it alpha, I'll just call them early test. Really, they're just kind of getting a view, and they're going to be able to give feedback as they want to. Now, a lot of it, I can't really say. They can't really say, "Hey, this piece is broken." I'm going to be like, "Yeah, I know, it's all broken." There's going to be broken pieces constantly at the beginning, right? It starts solidifying in time, get more and more functions, more and more cool stuff. Maybe nothing in the first, maybe not much in the first 4 months. But I'm hoping by the end of February I'll be able to start having functionality that covers, actually has input. I want to have, my goal, we'll say the first 6 months, is to have my, have some basic Unity, have the Unity APK existing. It might not have anything in it, so, I mean, ultra basic stuff. Just an APK you can install that has dudes on it. I don't know. Just maybe not even that. It might just have a couple of pages to navigate. I don't know what all it's going to have yet. I don't know how complex it's going to be to get Unity to the point where it's something to be said. Always trying to find little bits and pieces, things I can get done in a week or 2 weeks. So I can say, okay, here's the next release. And I wanted to do a release. I want to start being able to do push releases to prod every sprint. That's why I need to get this working. This sprint is got to be my production. I wanted to get it last sprint, but because of all the issues I've had here, getting all of the Docker variables and stuff lined up, I think that's caused me caused me a little bit of a delay. I'm a full way. I'm almost a whole nother sprint in, so I'm basically lost a sprint. Little disappointing, but it's just the way it goes sometimes, especially when you're learning all this. But I am gaining a lot of familiarity in Docker, so anybody out there who's looking to employ me now, here it is, man. If you are a game publisher and want to talk about this game and see where it's going, if it's cool enough for you, I am trying to work on let me know, and I'll finish the game design. I have started a game design document, but it's kind of like been a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, and it's just mainly because, unless I have a need for it right away, I haven't been doing it. Yes, it gives me directions, but I have a direction being built up and growing within my ClickUp, which is my whole, what I want to do in the app. And that's kind of giving me my focus, my direction, what needs to get done and what needs to happen. As I come up with new stuff, I keep adding it to that. But eventually, I guess I know more. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be things I have not fully thought of yet because it's kind of early in the process. I would say I want to be locked in development goals for the first release, probably 6 months in, or maybe 6 months in, and really focus during the second 6 to get the stuff I have done as much as I can. I don't expect everything's going to get done because it's one person trying to develop a lot of stuff. And again, Unity's going to be, it's going to be something new. All this stuff is new. To be honest, if I had really realized I was going to do Go, Mongo database, React. If somebody had told me 6 months ago I was going to create an app using Go, Mongo database, React, and GitHub and Docker, all working together, all doing their bits and parts together, and have it done the first 3 months, I'd have been like, yeah, right. I felt pretty good about the amount I had done at the end of December. January felt like it was, this Docker thing is taking me a little bit more work than I thought, all of these processes, and the authentication, both of them took more work than I expected. But I did make good progress. I think I got a lot of things working that I didn't expect to. I did a little bit more UI. A fair amount of new things got done. So I think progress, although not great, I do think it was decent. It was a solid run. I have to go through and actually start marking down some actual visuals or a list stuff. Each time I go through my ClickUp and I'm like, oh, I got that done, I got that done, I feel pretty good. Now, I was doing my ClickUps are always just if it went to test, if it functions, if I go to test. Right now, I'm kind of testing test and fixing things that aren't working in test, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing. I want to get my app to the full point where it goes to test and everything that I do in dev works in test. And then the same thing has to happen with prod. But I don't think it'll be as complicated because really the prod deployment is just another test deployment with different variables, different things to initiate it. So I think it'll be okay. I have a feeling the prod one will go pretty smooth, but there will be one more step in getting the prod one up and running, and that's getting the ngrok functionality, which is basically going to create essentially a public IP that GitHub can use to deploy to my prod when I do my pull request. And so I'm saving the pull request. I have a pull request I want to merge to my master, and once I merge to master, I'll pull all my code, I'll run the pull request, have it trigger, and see what happens. And then I'll have to do a couple of those where I do a pull request trigger, try to get it to fully run. And so we've got to go here. So let's go ahead and go to my Docker. Go back in here. And back in here. I wish I would just show you the last tag. There should be something here like the latest tag. Most recent tag. These show you like this, but you can't see the whole name. So it doesn't help you any. So I have to go in here and go copy this ending piece. And then I go back down here and paste it right on top of here. Go back here. And go back into here. Wait a minute, how come there's still code here? Is this not... Did I not close this? Wait, didn't I... How did I trigger a push if I didn't actually... Why does it think... Why did it... That's weird. How come... I know I did a commit and push. That's how I triggered that last... That is strange. Huh. I don't know what happened there. Let's go ahead and go back here. I'll try again. I don't know what's going on here, so we're gonna go seek, get, ignore.